GB, not GQ.
Presented by Giles Brown.
His record shows resigned, sacked, resigned, sacked. Right, nothing. Won nothing.
Yes, indeed, that's me, Giles Brown. Now, believe it or not, Men Without Hats are back. They got a new single out called Inglorious Days, and here it is.
Hit the floor. I don't wanna burn up in your fire. I just wanna jump, 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 jump. I just wanna jump, 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 jump. I just wanna say your secret is safe. And even when the dark of night surrounds you, I know that you'll see the light. I just wanna pray you're feeling okay, even when your world is falling all around you. I know that you'll be alright. I don't wanna burn up in your fire. I just wanna jump, 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 jump. I don't wanna burn up with desire. Burned before, don't blame me. When ashes hit the floor, I don't wanna burn up in your fire. I just wanna jump, 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 jump while I wait. The night closes in, lying awake with no answers. My mistake as a new day begins. Parting ways with the dancers and romancers. I don't wanna burn up in your fire. I just wanna jump, 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 jump. I don't wanna burn up with desire. Not me, no, don't blame me. Cause I've been burned before, don't blame me. When ashes hit the floor, I don't wanna burn up in your fire. I just wanna jump, 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 jump. Inglorious days. I just wanna jump, 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 jump. Inglorious days. I just wanna jump, 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 jump.
Yes, indeed. Inglorious Days, perhaps for the first time on Spanish radio, a world exclusive or a national exclusive for us here on Talk Radio Europe. That is the new one from Men Without Hats. And I'm delighted to say that the man behind it all, you may remember him from the 80s pomp. And we all had 80s, I mean, people had hair in the 80s. But of course, I'm delighted to say that there's a new album out called On the Moon. And Ivan himself, Ivan Doroschuck joins us, lead singer, the main man. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, thank you.
And where about are you lounging by the pool somewhere in Miami, just having another accolade, drop an ice cube into your pina colada? Where are you, my friend?
Almost. I'm on the west coast of Canada. I'm on Vancouver Island. Ooh. It's about 100 miles from just off the coast of Seattle.
Very nice part of the world to be in as well. I did some background because I was I think I was 16 years old when that track came out, when that album came out, and blown away by the whole situation, the huge hit it was. But I never realised how, sort of how far back you guys went, and how, the band was formed, and it was part of the Canadian New Wave movement. Explain.
Yeah, we actually started off as a punk band, guitars, bass, and drums, but since I was a classically trained pianist, my mother was a music teacher, so I took piano lessons all my life. I decided to make the switch over to synthesizers when they became readily available and affordable to everybody in the early 80s. I wanted to switch over, to cross over to pop music, just to be able to reach more people, I guess. And that's what happened. It was a DIY spirit in the air. Everybody was making a band. Everybody was forming bands. It was exciting times. There was a lot of new things happening, new technology, videos, computers were starting to come in. It was, like I said, exciting times. I
mean, everybody had a Casio. They could order a mail order, and we're sacking drummers because everybody had drum machines.
That's it. The drummers weren't too happy, and neither were the violin players when drum boxes and string machines came in. But hey, that's technology.
But here comes a really obvious thing to say. But, Canada is a very big country, and you were Montreal, Toronto, whereabouts did you start off with?
Montreal, yeah. We grew up in Montreal. Because if we're in the UK, everybody goes to London. I mean, that's where all the bands go, because you make it in London, you're made, and then you can do Europe. But Canada, obviously, for a band that wasn't Rush or something like that, It wasn't rock, because obviously you've got the rock history there. How did you go about getting your sound known, and was it a lot of writing off and sending cassettes? Yeah, well, we actually headed south. Montreal is very close to New York City. And so that's what we did. We headed south and toured extensively in the US before we even made it across Canada. Like you said, Canada's a big place, and the cities are few and far between. But the eastern coast of the United States is very populated, and that's where we went. That's where we recorded and pressed our first album, and yeah, we took it there first.
So what was the original sort of Men Without Hats? Was it a two-piece? Was it a three-piece? Did it have a string ensemble? What was the nucleus, if you like, of the band itself?
It was a four-piece. It was three brothers. It was myself and my two brothers and a fellow by the name of Alan McCarthy. And it was basically three keyboard players and a guitar player. We used drum box and bass lines to complement it. But yeah, it was quite new back then. Nobody had ever seen, very few bands were going out without drummers in those days. So we got a lot of attention just for that.
And what was the feeling like when you got noticed? You signed that first contract and you got that first single pressed, and you heard it on the FM radio, as it be then?
Oh, we were stoked. We were totally stoked. It was a great feeling. It's a lot of people. A lot of people try for that, and it's a big dream for a lot of people. But when it actually happens, it's quite amazing. And we were actually in studio making our follow-up record when Safety Dance broke. And so we just had to drop everything and get out, and they put us in a bus and toured the world for the next couple of years. But no, it was quite exciting times. When you
wrote, because people go, oh yeah, Men Without Hats, and we'll talk about the video briefly, but I know we're going to talk about the new stuff as well. But when that was composed, did you think it was going to be that song broke all over the world?
Well, when you're a young songwriter, you think that everything you do is destined for greatness, But it actually wasn't the first single that we released off the album. It was the second single. And it made it into the top 20, into the charts in Canada. We didn't have an American deal, so our success was pretty limited. And like I said, we were in studio recording the follow-up album when the record company phoned us and said, you guys have to make a 12-inch dance remix for Safety Dance. That's what everybody's doing these days. That's the new thing. You have to go out and make an extended mix. So we did. We made this extended mix of the Safety Dance, a dance mix for the clubs. We put it out, and we went back to recording our follow-up record. And then that extended mix hit #1 on the Billboard dance charts. So that started a flurry of
American record labels coming and knocking on the door wanting to sign us, and that's when the whole thing started.
And then
that and the video too was a big factor.
Because I'm at that age, I'm a 16-year-old schoolboy in England, and I suddenly see this guy doing this with dwarves and medieval stuff, and I'm like, but the thing, I mean, apart from the because I was a Dungeons and Dragons head, but apart from that, it's your vocal style. A lot of guys in the 80s were trying to be almost mechanical or like a synthesizer. You got this low tone that gets you in a good way, Ivan.
Yeah, no, I was a big fan of Roxy Music, and Brian Ferry was a big influence on my vocal stylings. So that's like I had good teachers, good templates to go after, and the video was also like you say, it was a weird video. I think everybody was expecting a new wave John Travolta to come out there and teach them how to do the safety dance, and so when they saw this Pied Piper figure prancing about the English countryside with Morris dancers and dwarves and crazy blonde chicks, it stuck in people's minds, and it served us well.
Did you have a thing about sort of maypoles and medieval England, or is this some sort of arty director saying, darling, we need to have a crazy blonde chick who then it turns out is an editor of a magazine some 30 years later. We need to have you in doublet and hose and going somewhere in the Cotswolds, presumably.
Yeah, that was Tim Pope, the director. He ended up doing quite a few of our videos. He did a lot of videos for Soft Cell and The Cure and a lot of other bands. And he came up with the idea. But we actually had the same idea. It was before internet, before emails and stuff like that. So we actually wrote letters to each other describing the script that we wanted, and our letters crossed the pond at the same time, and we ended up realizing that we both had kind of the same idea, and even the locations were quite similar. But we decided to go shoot it in England, in Wiltshire and West Kington, in the little village that he had scoped out, and so it gave it that unique flavor that it's one of these videos. You can watch 80s videos these days and kind of chuckle at the hairstyles and the neon clothing and pointy shoes. But this one, you don't know when it was filmed. It's like watching a Western, it's hard to pin a time frame on it. It's good. It's long lasting.
But what is it like to have a hit like that goes global and it just takes off? Is it sort of grabbing the rock? Because we have to go to the UK, then we're in Belgium, then we have to go to Japan, and it's big in South. I mean, you must have thought at some point, this is great, but what are we doing here?
Yeah, no, it was cool. I mean, I flew on the Concorde to go do the video. We were in the middle of a tour, so we didn't want to miss any dates. So I flew there and back on Concorde. It was great. I have to admit, it was a life-changing experience. It was, especially MTV. We got a lot of heavy rotation on MTV. It was the early days of MTV. They didn't have that many videos in their roster. So we got heavy rotation. And I went from being an unknown Canadian musician to somebody who was recognized everywhere I went. So it was quite life-changing, but hey, that's part of the job description. That's what you sign up for. So it was good. It was fun.
And the thing is, we've got this new, we're going on about the 80s, but I haven't got any hair and the whole situation and MTV in its role. And I'm just looking at the gold discs behind you. The listeners can't see it, but that's an impressive collection of gold discs behind you. But the thing is, having such a massive hit, well, we've had quite a few massive hits, but it allows you to keep doing, and you occupy a very special piece in many people's hearts, because they go, Men Without Hats, Safety Dance, and you're part of loads of people's stories when they're growing up. And having seen some of the stuff you're doing these days as well, the audiences are still there. It's not like, oh, for goodness sake, it's not like how, I don't know, the prog rock lot got shut down in the 80s or whatever else since then. People want to have a good time, they want to have a party, and bands like yourselves from the 80s have still got an audience out there, which must be great for you guys.
Yeah, no, since I put the band back together, I took some time off in the 90s. I was a stay-at-home dad, and when my son became old enough to go to school by himself, I decided to put the band back together, and there's been a resurgence of everything 80s since then. And when we play live now, we see our original fans, but they bring their kids and sometimes even their grandkids to the show. And we've been fortunate to have songs that have embedded themselves in popular culture thanks to shows like The Simpsons and Glee and stuff like that. So it's really great. I think, and also this new generation, you hear a lot of 80s influences in modern pop music today. You hear a lot of the big 80s drum sounds and a lot of synthesizers and robot voices. And I think this new generation is one of the first generations that grew up on its parents' music. As a teenager, I don't remember listening to Frank Sinatra or Perry Como, but this generation seems to, have embraced 80s music and classic rock and things like that. So it's great.
When you say bringing your kids to the gigs, of course, don't you bring your kids to the gigs as well?
Well, yeah, I brought my, I used to bring my son on tour with me until he got he got a bit bored of the whole thing. But sitting around in a hotel room waiting to play at his bedtime was not the most exciting thing for him. But no, we see a lot of families. We play a lot of family shows, and it's great. It's a lot of fun.
So the new album, what's it like going back and I mean, presumably, are you back in the studio? Have you got this wonderful home studio in Vancouver Island overlooking Victoria or something like that? What's the setup?
Yeah, no, we recorded it partly in my place and partly up island in a Grammy-winning producer who lives on the island here, Brian Howes. And this album was like when I put the band back together, I was quite content to go out and play my back catalog and give the people the songs that they grew up with and remembered and had fun with. But the fans are the ones who've been asking for new music. So this new album is actually fan driven, and so we decided to give them more of what we do best. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We just gave them more 80s music that they love and enjoy. And the first single was called I Love the 80s, and did really well for us too. So, it's already a crowd favorite when we play it live. It's a big sing-along now. So, no, we've been having a lot of fun. It's been great to be able to play new music for them too.
Yeah, but also this one. I mean, it sounds obviously like a track you would have written in the 80s, but the production's better. It's not so creaky. You can tell that there's a cleaner sound to it, which is you've reimagined. I mean, it's funny, isn't it? We're saying retro 80s, and we were there first time round. But the way it's coming back in Stranger Things and all that sort of thing, and the fashions, and you're like, oh, I got rid of my earrings and my velvet bits and pieces and my fluorescent things in sort of 1989 when I became a goth, but now you see the kids wearing them, and it's like, oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, even technology has really helped a lot too. I do a lot of demos at home, and the quality of the demos is so good that a lot of the tracks make it into the final product. They last the whole way right to the final mix. And that's something that's been really good. It's put the music back into a lot of people's hands. Back in the days, to make a record, you needed a lot of big things. You needed a big studio, a big budget, a big record company, a producer, an engineer, a special guy to make the coffee. I mean, you needed a whole bunch of stuff, but now you need a computer and a good idea, and you're set to go. It's great.
Do you still get the same sort of buzz of walking on a stage and going, here's the new stuff? I mean, even today, is it the connection between you and the audience, which is the best buzz you can possibly get?
Oh yeah, no, that's what keeps us going. I love to perform, and I love to see the smile on people's faces when they hear these songs, that bring them right back. Music is time travel, and it really brings people back. It really brings them back to good times. The 80s were fun times. They were, new times. There was a lot of new things happening. I mean, it wasn't all fun and games. It was the Reagan Thatcher era. So that's what created, punk rock and sort of this,
Yeah, but
protest
here in Spain in the 80s was an absolute blast, because it was like the 60s for Spain in the 80s, because it all became liberated. You had Almodovar, Banderas, new music, new freedoms. It was, and I remember being in a club called Zilius, and which was pink and lots of like chicken wire everywhere, because we were like 16, and fluorescent stuff and doing the safety dance. I'm sorry, I haven't, but it happened.
Yeah, for Sonic Safety Dance, sometimes I consider the song is bigger than the band. Even it belongs to, doesn't even belong to us anymore. It belongs to everybody out there. It's part of the culture. And sometimes I feel like a like a museum curator going around and presenting this huge musical artifact that brings, immense joy to people. So it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with it.
You've been on tour this year, haven't you? You're just wrapping up a European tour and a Canadian tour. I mean, I know, and then you've got an album. What have you got coming out for next year? Is it going to be sort of, I don't know, the musical? You're going to put it down, the Men Without Hats musical, or a line of skateboarding merch? What's going to happen, Ivan?
Yeah, no, it's more of the same. We start off the year, we go across Canada again, and then we head off on an 80s cruise down in the Caribbean with a lot of other people. Yeah, and we just got back from Cancun, actually. We did an 80s in the Sand festival with a bunch of our peers too. That's one of the great things also of doing this now is that I get to hang out with a lot of the bands, a lot of 80s bands that I grew up, listening to and do you all get on? Do you all get on, or do you think, it's the so and so's from? Oh my God, it's the guys from the Thompson Twins. Don't look at them; they were bad to us. I look at it, it's Roadfield, That's funny because we just got off a huge tour last summer with the Thompson Twins. We had a blast. It was great, and it's a lot different. Back then, I would liken being in a young band to kind of being on a sports team. It's you travel the country, you're competing against other bands. You're competing for gigs, for, venues, for room in the press, for room on the charts. You're competing for fans. But now the competition's gone. The work has been done, and it's a lot more of a collaboration. Nobody's out there to pay the rent. And, anybody who's out there from the 80s out there touring now is doing it just purely because they love to do it, first of all, and because the people are still listening to their music. And we're all fortunate enough that our music is still being listened to. So we really appreciate that, and we enjoy giving back, and that's what we're doing.
I've just got this sort of post-apocalyptic Mad Max thing as the 80s, and then you're all standing there going, "Good grief, we're still here!" And look, it's the Thompson Twins, and look, there goes the Soft Cell or whatever. I mean, absolutely brilliant. What are you hoping that people are going to do? Go out and, but obviously, download the record, follow you on the way, catch you in Europe if you're coming over, or join you on the cruise, which sounds absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, no, that's it. Just come out and have a good time. And we'll be touring. We've actually been to more places, visited more countries, more cities, and played more gigs since I put the band back together, in 2010, I think it was, than we did back in the 80s. So it's great. There seems to be a resurgent and uptrend of things 80s. And, you can find everything at safetydance.com. You can follow us pretty easily by going to safetydance.com, and there's merch there, the records there to download, there's tickets, concert listings, pictures, history, everything's there.
The entire Men Without Hats. If you're a Men Without Hats nerd, and I think you should be, go to that one. Well, listen, the new album is called On the Moon. We played, obviously, Inglorious Days. I think that's probably the first time it's been played in Spain. So, thanks for giving us that one.
Awesome.
Just give me the website one more time, so the afflicted can go in and click and find out even more. Because I know you're on the Facebook and all those sort of things as well.
Yeah, it's easy to remember. Safetydance.com for everything Men Without Hats. One-stop shopping.
Evan, I know it's early in the morning for you guys, so thank you so much for being with us. You've made a guy who used to have 80s hair very happy indeed.
Well, my pleasure. It was great talking to you.